Let's learn how to fit a vintage GI Joe astronaut suit. Hi, my name is Doug, and let's get down to work. We start with a 12-inch upgraded body that has been covered in Mueller foam. The 1990s version of the Hasbro GI Joe Astronaut had a shiny fabric, and that version can be used, but it's not nearly as good as the foil suit that was introduced in the 1960s. The best one to find is the 3-zipper version, although if you can only get the 2 or the 1, you can add zippers later. The product that I recommend to make all of the fitting work is Tessa tape. It's a 2-sided tape adhesive that is extremely sticky. It works for both plastic and fabric. Once the suit is mounted on the body, and you may have to stretch a bit because that foam does make it a little more difficult, this is when the fitting begins. It's simply cutting small strips and folding over the areas where there's just too much fabric. On this upgraded body sculpt, I find it a little bit easier to put the boots on by putting the feet in first. Let's do the other leg now using the same technique. Just peel off this tape, then fold over. Now you gotta make sure that you take a look at both seams. Remember, that seam needs to be straight right and left. The main reason these suits need to be fitted is because they were just too large and they don't look realistic. So once the body is covered with foam and the suit is fitted around that body, it really looks realistic for the scale. I try to be really strategic with where I fold. The area around the calves is a little more difficult, but you'll see up above over that zipper, that's a great opportunity to hide where you're making that fold. On these old 1960s suits, you'll notice that the original webbing usually looks pretty worn. Feel free to take that off because we'll replace it all with new parachute harness materials. Notice here I'm pulling on that foil fabric and just covering up the zipper on the suit. These old GI Joe suits were made really large along with the parts so kids could take the parts on and off, which was part of the fun of playing with them. But to attain the best realism, I recommend getting it right and leaving it alone. Notice here I'm bringing in some of the parts from the Full Earth Workshop Mercury Upgrade Kit. The silver painted parts that go inside the sleeves are the glove bearings, and the white part fitting inside the glove bearings is a structural part that will help us to make the space gloves. The original Hasbro GI Joe suit, well, the sleeves are too long on both sides, so we need to cut them off about halfway up the forearm, and then we fit the glove bearings into place with double-sided tape. Make sure you hold on to the parts of the sleeve that you just cut off. You can use that extra material to fix holes, and take a look at our final fitted GI Joe suit. Where can you get crazy cool hobby stuff? Well, at FullEarthWorkshop.com.